Wake up day one of your menstrual cycle and think, I might slap a stranger today. That's where I'm at. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another blissful week of the Bitch Bible Podcast. Surprise, it's just me. Go fucking figure. I don't know about any of the other ladies or gentlemen that are listening to this podcast, but day one of my menstrual cycle, just call me Jackie Bin Laden. I am a terrorist. I am deflated. I am manic. I am angry. I am rashy. I am bloated, and I am starving. If I could eat a stick of butter, like a granola bar, and maybe I have, oh my God, the saltine cracker with the butter, with the extra flaky salt. Anywho, this is going to be a very fun show. I'm feeling spicy yet sedated, which is kind of my favorite combination. So I'm just going to say the thing that we aren't supposed to say. I wake up every morning and I go on TikTok for 45 minutes. I've talked about this on the podcast before. It just kind of gets my wheels working. It gets me upset in the right way. It gets me angry. It gets me reflective. It makes me love myself a little bit more. I'm just going to say the thing that nobody's supposed to say. Nothing dehydrates the vagine like Jason Derulo on TikTok. Maybe it's because I'm menstrual, but I heard his Savage Love remix first thing this morning, and I almost started crying. Like, actually crying. And I couldn't tell if I was crying because I thought it was so bad it was funny, or it offended me, or I'm upset, or I hate it so much, or just I detest it, and to the point of actual tears. Like, crying. Real cry. Real tears. These TikTokers are so fucking embarrassing. All of you. So you can fucking dance. Big whoop. I don't care at all. Go to Juilliard, Jodie Sawyer. Go fuck Cooper Nielsen. Okay, Barishnikov, you mortify me. And the captions. Oh my God, the captions. Orange, you glad I didn't say banana? Emrata in a fucking orange sphincter floss. Or fucking Jess horsing around. Like, oh my God, are you posing with a horse? I hope you get hoof kicked in your concave vagina. So anyways, by the way, the concave vagina, Heather McMahon said that on this podcast. When you listen back, you'll understand the concave vagina theory. So, plug. I'm happy these dancers are making money on TikTok. I hope that they understand that there is a shelf life. And more than anything, I hope they understand their place in the world. I had an epiphany like 3 days ago. I consider myself a mediocrely talented human being. And by mediocre, I mean extremely, extremely mediocre. I've got chutzpah for days. I'm relatively smart. I'm smart enough. I know how to benefit from people underestimating me, etc. But I am the least talented person in my social vortex. And I can appreciate that. I understand it. I don't want to be an out-of-season peony amongst carnations, okay? I would rather be that filler green foliage leaf amongst a gorgeous bouquet of orchid stems. It's inspiring, It's something to live for. It's humbling. Anyways, I have this self-awareness. I can conceptualize that what I do, comparatively speaking, is Yikestown, USA, population 2, me and my fucking Shih Tzu, Richard. And I had this epiphany while I was talking to a Heim sister. I try not to tease guests because then people reach out to them and they slide into the DMs, and then said potential guest starts really getting into the history of the Bitch Bible Podcast and me as a human being, and then they get scared and then they cancel. But all I'm going to say is it is a possibility that we might get a little Heim lovin' on next week's episode. If you don't know Heim, they are the ultimate Jewish Valley Girl fucking band. They're alternative pop rock. I don't really know. I'm not gonna hit them with the genre. It's so fucking good. I love their new album so much. It's incredible. I mean, I Know Alone, that's my favorite song currently off the album. It's I just want to get dark chocolate Kit Kats, some Midol, draw the shades, and just bask in the estrogen and slap the bass face. Anywho, they're so talented, and I'm a massively charming fuckwad, and it blows my mind that people on TikTok doing sad makeup tutorials or outfits or shit for brains dance routines don't realize the same. You guys are fucking stupid. And it's fine because you're making money. That's what I tell myself every morning. But like, you have to understand that you are not in the same caliber of people who, like, of fucking Daniel Day-Lewis. Okay? Like, you're just not. You're just not. And that's cool. Barishnikov. Beyonce. Like, you're not even, you're different. And I just want, I have to tell myself this. Sometimes I get overly validated by funds. And the truth of the matter is, I walk into a room many a time where I am the stupidest, least talented person. And I love that for me. And I just, I encourage, the youth of TikTok and or other social media platforms to understand the same. Like, I'm happy for these influencers who make millions of dollars putting outfits on that they're given for free by designers and walking in place and jumping to sad music. But at the end of the day, we're all just prostitutes, and you should know that. Okay, bye. Thank you for listening. Like the fucking Kardashians. Like, just because you end up in the same room with people of a certain caliber, you're not there. Like, you don't have the same gifts, and that's cool. And that's what makes the world go round. Cue the motherfucking rainbow, okay? As I embark on this new decade of my life, I've been doing a lot of reflecting. I'm looking back, I'm looking inward, I'm looking forward. I'm looking for Super Plus jumbo tampons the size of a rocket ship, all of the things. And when I started this podcast, I was a different person, I was a different bitch. And I think that a lot of the founding principles of this podcast need to be updated, a revision, if you will. Especially in my relationship, I used to be someone that would want to kick it up a couple notches. Andrew would be like, stop making a scene. And I'd be like, oh, you don't want a scene? And like, cue the ribbon dancing. Like, I just loved it. I thought that it was funny. I thought it was effective. I would scream. I like to throw things. I like the drama. In my wise 30 years on this planet, I had another epiphany recently. It is so much scarier to be silent. It's mysterious. It's the blank stare that we yearn for. It's the glaze. It's the wheels working. It's the, is she gonna snap? Am I gonna wake up and she'll be gone? That's the new vibe. Here's a multiple choice question, okay? Let's say, hypothetically speaking, you're in a relationship. You go through your boyfriend's phone, significant other, whatever. You see that they've been texting an ex-girlfriend, the one before you, perhaps the one that got away. Maybe she had immigration problems, she's abroad, geography, who knows? They broke up, okay? With no real reason. But they're texting. And maybe there's a winky face, maybe there's a heart emoji, maybe there's nicknames, okay? A, do you immediately bring it to his attention? You scream, you cry, why are you doing this? Why are you texting her? B, do you take a screenshot, send it to yourself, delete said screenshot, monitor the situation for at least 6 months, whilst laying it on very thick? We're talking 6-course meals. We're talking BJ's for days. We're talking just chipper as a Christmas chicken. Okay? C, nope, I'm only going to give you 2 options. You need to go with B. Always and forever. There is something so deeply terrifying about a woman with a glazed, distant stare, and I just realized that like 4 days ago. A lot of you have DM'd me for advice about what to do if you do catch your boyfriend talking to their ex-girlfriends. Now, I kind of go back and forth on this one. I don't think they should be chummy chum, but at the same time, like, it's also a red flag to be with someone that has like a really toxic relationship with his ex-girlfriend. I also find that to be very weird. Like, why did it end so badly? Oh, she's crazy. Well, then why the fuck did you date a psycho? Well, why'd you marry one, Andrew? That's a better question. But like, you know what I'm saying? I think that it's very convenient for men to just slap a label on their ex-girlfriend. Oh, she's crazy. She's insecure. She's this. But like, to have such a vitrolic, I don't know if that's a real word of the week, vitrolic, vitriol, don't care, don't know, just roll with it here. Like, for it to be that toxic to where you don't speak, that's a red flag. You spent how many years with a person that you identify as a, Osama bin Brenda? What's that say about you and your judge of character? And then what does that say about me if me and her are both in the same romantic history together? You know what I'm saying? So that's something to think about. I'm very lucky, but also kind of it's a missed opportunity for me to like really delve into Andrew pre-Jackie, BJ, if you will. But Andrew never had girlfriends before me, which I also think is fucking weird. Allegedly, he was a massive, massive love 'em and leave 'em asshole whore all through college. Just a real mind fucker. And I kind of love that for him, and I appreciate, and I think it gives him a bit of an edge. But I will tell you that when we first started dating, I went on a group trip with him and his college friends. I don't want to brag, but we got a standard room at Treasure Island. It was very romantic, very exciting. It was either that or the Excalibur. If you know Vegas, you know what I'm working with here. We went to dinner, and two of the girls at the table, of a relatively small group, by the way, about 10, wouldn't even look at Andrew in the eye. Wouldn't even share breaths with him. Wouldn't even pass him the fucking ciabatta basket. And, as a woman, you can just kind of read the room and you just know something went down. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, what the fuck did he do? And sure enough, the year before, love him and fucking leave him and never speak to him again, and then bring your new girlfriend at the Treasure Island buffet. Leo! Please shut the fuck up. I love you. Please stop. The level of professionalism happening over here is wild. My little sea scallop, yesterday was his birthday. You know what I did? I chewed up a carrot. I chewed up an apple. I chewed up a cucumber. I spit it over his food. And then I took a can of tuna and I drizzled the fishy liquid all over his dog food to make like a puree. And he fucking woofed it. He smells like the fisherman's wharf, per usual. If Andrew ever betrayed me, I think that, the ultimate form of maturity and wisdom and just composure and self-love is really in the long game, not the short game. So while it would be difficult for me to stifle my emotions and my gone girl tendencies to just really snap, I would have to dial that back, find my inner peace, and channel it into just really emotionless, surgical, psychological warfare that would only end in a color-coded, laminated binder from Staples. I think first in the binder, I would have to really, really catalog his betrayals. I'm talking screenshots. I'm talking, location pin drops. I'm talking, time logs. I'm talking phone call recordings. Anything, stool samples, anything I could get my hands on, because I am a woman. I'm a visual learner, so I think it would be incredibly beneficial to have really a lot of time to compile all my evidence so it is foolproof. Obviously, I would make digital copies and send them to his entire family, all of his work colleagues, my entire family, my work colleagues, personal friends, loved ones, our rabbi, basically anyone, the guy that slices my boar's head turkey down the street, our sushi guy, the contractor, the plumber, our, beautiful housekeeper that we love so much, that's like a mother to me. the woman that lasers my vagina, our attorneys, really anyone with a pulse. I would probably just send it to anyone within a 20-mile radius. I think it would be great. I would publish it. I'd put it on the internet, but not before giving it to him first. I think at the beginning of the binder, it would start with really beautiful photos of me, just solo. And then, kind of like a childhood timeline. I think psychologically that would really fuck him up. Just seeing me as an innocent child, a Shirley Temple Ashkenazi knockoff, just innocence behind the eyes, me playing in a field in Idaho, Hanukkah morning. Is there a Hanukkah morning? I don't know. Just through all the stages of my life, just to let him fall in love with me all over again and really connect to me during the time in my life where he wasn't present. And then to see the slow decline of what he did to me and kind of the loss of innocence behind my eyes, then I would kick it back. I want it to be a roller coaster for both of us. So I want him to see me as a child. I want him to see me as a teen. I want him to see me, in my short stint of college. Then, bring it back down. I want him to see us, signing our ketubah. What does that mean to you, Andrew? I thought you were Jewish now. You signed the ketubah. We should have signed it with blood. Then maybe, trips, travel, life moments, things that we've experienced together. Then maybe a shot of us at our parents' funeral, really bring it down and then bring it back up again. Our Italian vacation, I want this to be psychological warfare. I want him to know how I had been there for him, past tense. Then I would give myself, realistically, I want to say a year, but knowing me, I probably would only be able to keep this going for 6 months. So I would be cataloging everything. And it would all be color-coded and scented. And first I would have screenshots. Then I would have location, I would have all of his locations and a timeline of why were you here at this time, and again the next day, and again the next day, and again the next day, and then you came home here. And then I would have coordinating text messages like, oh babe, still at the studio on the way home. But then I would have a coordinating geotag of him at some horse house in the Inland Empire doing God knows what. Like I would have, everything would be perfectly organized, laminated. It would be foolproof, like no holes. The foundation would be fucking solid. Back to my Gone Girl tactics. After I presented Andrew with the binder of betrayal, I would completely disappear. Maybe in a younger year, I would want him to see me happy with somebody else. True story, when I was in college, my high school / college boyfriend, Doug, dumped me. And I just couldn't even believe it. And even now, I saw him recently because he did some podcast spots years ago. And we went out for drinks with him and his business partner. And in the middle of our professional meeting of the minds, I looked over at his business partner and I was like, can you believe that he dumped me? And I still think about it sometimes. I'm so wildly out of his league. It is a blow mind. But anyways, after he dumped me, I found this adorable, incredibly handsome, rugged gay man to take salacious photos with me, which I then had a cousin upload to Facebook and tag us both in it because I thought that was going to be a really cool look to have somebody else post the photos, but they were kind of blurry and they were kind of candid and we were fake making out, but obviously not because he likes the peen and I have a vagine, and it was stunning. It was some of my best work. I put a thigh-high sock on with a boot because I thought that was going to really, really put salt in the open wounds. So, in a younger day, I might think, you know what? I want to stick it to him. I want him to see me blissfully happy. But that provides closure. And in this new wave, the last thing we want is closure. I have an ex-boyfriend that was much older than me. And I think about him sometimes because I semi-emotionally abused him. And, it was it was how I felt like a presence in the relationship because he was so much older than me, dark times. And I know nothing about him. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he lives. I don't know if he's married. I don't know if he has kids. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know if he's alive. I mean, I kind of don't care, but I think about it because I don't know and I don't have access to the information, because mystery is power. Because then you can take all of this creative liberty and fantasizing, or not fantasizing, that's the wrong word, but like, you just don't know what's going on. Maybe he married a princess and lives in a castle, and maybe he got hit by a fucking bus and died. We'll never know. But it keeps it in your brain somehow. Whereas if you provide closure, like, oh, she's moved on, she's happy, she's married, she has 2 little demon seed children that she thinks are a lot cuter than they actually are, then that provides, the chapter book is closed. The fucking end. Just fully disappear. I would have a third party make the divorce arrangements, gather my things, but he would never see or speak to me. Probably I'd say 2 years feel safe, maybe a year and a half, and then I would stage a run-in. A brief run-in, okay? I would look unbelievable. I would lick raw salmon fillets until I got wild food poisoning, shitting my brains out, coming out of every fucking hole. But I would do that probably like 5 days in advance, so things would be concave, but I'd still get a little color back in the cheeks, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously we could achieve that with makeup, bronzer, a blush, but when you're married to someone, they know what you look like naturally, so I would want to look fresh-faced and glowing, but natural. So I'd have to let the food poisoning subside for at least 48 to 72 hours. I would have a blow dry that would give Clay Aiken a half chub. Is Clay Aiken dead? Why do I feel like Clay Aiken died? Is he alive? I'm going to feel really bad if he's dead. But even from the grave would give Clay Aiken, maybe not 6 to midnight, but maybe 6 to 9:47. I don't know. A blow dry that says, I'm fresh, I'm clean, and I might have been up all night, downward dog. What is risky cowgirl? What's it called? Battleship. What's a sex? Reverse cowgirl. Reverse cowgirl. I'm a fucking moron. Listen, when you're hot, you're hot. So I'd have like a fresh but not too fresh blow dry. I'd probably be wearing like workout clothes, so it was unassuming. You want to throw them off your scent. And then, here's the ticker. I would be wearing a gold band on my ring finger. Not a flashy diamond, not like a promise ring type, just a simple gold band. Because that's kind of out of character for me. It's kind of demure, it's kind of mature, it's kind of chic, it's kind of glam. And it would be so out of character, so not only would he be like, ooh, is she with someone? But also, wow, she's changed. Thus instilling deep psychological torment and regression and despair and unrest. Then I thought, should I be walking the dog? But that would provide closure. He'd get to see our child. Instead, I'd be like, oh, it's so great to see you. Keep it brief. Oh my God, it's so great to see you. How are you doing? Great, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Mystery. I'd be like, oh, it's such a shame. I just dropped Leo off. Where did I drop him off? Where is he? In the arms of Antonio Banderas, a Latin lover? Who fucking knows? He'll never sleep again. Where's the dog? Then I'd ever so supplely clutch his tricep and look at him in the eyes, warmth behind the eyes. And I'd say, I hope you're doing well. And then I would sachet Shantae off. And tell me that doesn't burn and give you tingles in your goddamn vagina. I gotta say, it's been such a waste of my resources that I've never been cheated on. I'm not saying I would like to be cheated on because I could end up, next cellmates with fucking Betty Broderick. But I do think that sink or swim, I'd be swimming like fucking Michael Phelps. Olympic-sized pool. Laps on laps on laps. I was born for this shit. Because when I need to, I can dial it the fuck in. Now, I opened up the Gone Girl floodgates earlier this morning so I could answer some listener questions because I think it's important to have a dialogue, and I really do want this to be a informative podcast of an elevated educational wavelength. Someone asked me what my disguise and new alter ego would be. Here's the thing. I imagine myself as a villanelle adjacent. Now, if one more motherfucking person, I need you to, you know what, turn the volume up when I say this, because talk about Gone Girl, talk about somebody snapping. If one more person slides into my DMs and asks me if I've seen Killing Eve and that I remind them of Villanelle, aka Jodie Comer, or whatever, she was in Dr. Foster, it's the same person, I will drive to your house and I'm going to punch you so hard in the throat that your trachea will combust. We have covered this so many times. I appreciate it. I think she's beautiful. Love ya, Lilas, all of the things, but we've already covered this. Now, back to my alter ego. I would probably go with my drag name, Kiki Chagrin, because it is who I am at the core of my being. And I think that it has a nice ring to it. I would definitely relocate somewhere abroad, maybe Europe, maybe London, maybe a countryside. I'm not sure. Whereas Gone Girl went very under the radar with like the mousy brown hair and the fupa and, you know, just letting it all go. I would do the opposite. I envision myself, I would start smoking immediately because low-key, I mean, smoking kills, don't try it, kids, but I think it's effortlessly glamorous, and if it didn't kill you, I would smoke long cigarettes with a brass cigarette holder just all day, every day. I think it's the sexiest thing. Not lovely to say, but it is my truth. So I would definitely take up smoking and or maybe some other recreational drugs that I've never tried before. And that is not a joke. I want to say this on this podcast, and I'm not proud of it because I wish I was more experimental. I have not tried any drug ever. I've smoked weed twice, and that's it. Maybe 3 times. Hated it. Got the spins. Like, felt like an air bubble was coming from my vagina all the way up to my throat at 3-second intervals. Miserable. So I would probably take up, you know, the cocaine. Cocaine. Just because it's like, why not? I would drain all of Andrew's bank accounts and reposition all of his royalties to go into my bank account. So I would be like, you know, I'd really be living it up on his dime. I would just be draining those funds like a motherfucker. And I imagine myself in, you know, kind of like the Attico season, ready to wear 2020, lots of feathers, lots of crystals, a big puffy shoulder, bright colors, embellishment, like leather suits and pastels. I imagine myself in a lavender, leather shorts tuxedo. I imagine myself like in menswear inspired, but in pastel colors. If you know the brand Area, I see like a lot of that, a lot of like just embellished like harnesses, maybe like a latex hot pant with, you know, a floor length feather blush pink coat. I see lots of statement jewelry, headpieces, thigh-high boots, just like lots of latex, lots of fur, faux, of course, wink, wink, marabou, ostrich, fringe. Oh my gosh, during the summers, I would obviously only wear lame caftans, with like bejeweled sandals and then just tons of diamonds and maybe like a Missoni turban, because why the fuck not? Kiki Chagrin, she is taking a new lease on life, and I would really want to lean into that with the ensemble. I'd go platinum blonde because, like, even if my hair fell out, who would care? That would be only add to the disguise. Oh, I'd be doing all kinds of things, like very Charlize Theron after she shaved her head for Monster. What did she shave her head for? I don't know. It's not important, but that would be my vibe. I might pull a tooth out recreationally and just pop a gold one in with pave diamonds, maybe pink sapphires, more fiscally responsible. So I just have like a bejeweled tooth, because why the fuck not? I'd probably also purchase 2 Rottweilers and get them Cuban link diamond chains to wear around their neck, and then get like pink leather bedazzled harnesses and leashes, and I would just go everywhere with them. Just everywhere. 2 of them, 1 in each hand. I'd probably name them like Mary-Kate and Ashley, despite their gender, or Julianne and Derek, depending on my mood. But they would be trained attack dogs, and nobody would fuck with me, and I would just be like sitting in a bistro out. Well, could I do outdoors because the pigeons? I don't know. Maybe I'll take the money and like hire a hypnosis therapist to just go everywhere with me, and I'd just be like sitting outside in Paris in a marabou coat with my 2 Rottweilers. They're attack dogs. They'd just be snarling at people, especially children and birds. They would scare the birds away. I wouldn't even have to get the hypnosis therapist. Drinking like a buttery, like French Bordeaux wine, doesn't matter what time of day it is, smoking my cigarettes, giving 0 fucks. I'd get acrylic nails for the first time, and I would just be the best version of myself. So there is always a light at the end of the Gone Girl tunnel, and it includes a bejeweled tooth. How to get a guy to fall for you using Gone Girl techniques. First of all, I have always said this. I don't like that people are trying to strip women of the term crazy. I think crazy is a beautiful thing. I think we need to embrace it balls deep. There was all these bullshit articles like on Elite Daily and BuzzFeed and Women's Health. I mean, allegedly, I don't even know if that was the appropriate platforms, but saying why we shouldn't call women crazy, and how detrimental it is and sexist. I would like to go on the record and say I strongly disagree, and I am not a supporter of the anti-crazy movement. I am a long-time believer that I want everyone around me to think I'm crazier than I actually am, just for fluff. You know, it's called gaslighting. Get on board, bitches. So I think that men love crazy girls. I think they're fun. I think they're wild. I think they don't feel safe with you, which is like triggering, and it kind of makes them want to catch you more. There's something about the bitch that's just too accommodating that never really wins. They say nice girls finish last. And do they say that? Is that a saying? I don't really know. That's what I say. Nice is a behavior. It's not a characteristic. It's if someone says within the first 3 adjectives, she's really nice, you need to get a personality and spice it up a little bit. You need to find out who the fuck you are, because nice, there are people who say Adolf Hitler was nice. I could be nice. I could pretend to be nice, but that doesn't mean anything. So I think step 1, be yourself from the fucking jump. It's called big dick energy. If you are direct, if you are ferocious, if you are brazen, if you are all caps, whoever the fuck you are, it's incredibly attractive. It's called operating on a higher motherfucking vibration. So if you don't like Mexican food and your fucking new date says, hey, how does tacos sound? I don't fucking like tacos. What else? You know what I mean? I'm not saying you need to be mean or emasculating, but you should always be direct. It really throws people off in every quadrant of your life, professionally, romantically, in your friendships. Being direct is so fucking hot. It's new age. That doe-eyed Bambi fawn in the woods bullshit. Nobody likes that. That's fun for like a fucking week. So buck up, be direct, be transparent, and have a sense of humor, and also be interesting. Like, don't make your significant other the epicenter of your universe. I mean, look what happened to Betty Broderick. Shit fucking happens. You better be your own entity. It's very attractive. It's the most attractive thing in the world. And if you've been needy and codependent in your relationships in the past, figure out what the fuck that is, because that will drive people away in every sense of the word. Friends, romantically, professionally, get your shit together. Handle your business. Okay? If you found out Andrew had been having an affair and got the other girl pregnant, oh my God, other than going full Gone Girl on his ass, would you go after her too, assuming that she knew he was married? Honestly, I don't like it when women blame the other women. I would only blame and punish the person that stood across from me and made vows to me, because that's the person that I committed to, that I was in a relationship with. Some rando who wants to like bang my husband, I mean, can't blame him. I understand this firsthand. Everybody has a crush on my husband. I hear it all the fucking time. He is a babe, babe, babe. And I like that. That attracts me more to him. I feel like I'm winning a prize, not to objectify him, but that's the truth. Now, if something went down, would I go to the girl and then forgive my husband? Absolutely not. This is an example of like a Jim, Alexis Bellino, and then Peggy Tanos. Was it Tanos? I think so. Remember when Peggy had dated Jim and then befriended Alexis, and Jim never told Alexis that he had been with her friend? And Peggy was like, I don't know that it's my place to tell my friend that I dated her husband. That's between them. They're the married couple. She told her husband. It was public knowledge in their home. Now, they're all subsequently divorced at this point in time. However, I stand with Peggy in the narrative that Alexis and Jim, that's on them. It had nothing to do with Peggy. So for Alexis to cut Peggy out and then forgive her husband, I don't think that the punishment meets the crime. I think that your husband is the one that was betraying you. So he should be the recipient of your Gone Girl. Listen, I know this is terrible to say, but this is a safe place and he'll never listen to this. Can you imagine how great it would be for downloads if Andrew cheated on me? Unfortunately, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, unfortunately, I never say never, but I would be borderline proud of him. He's so fucking scared of me, rightfully so. And honestly, I think across the board, anyone who knows us, and if anyone was to pull some sketchy shit, it would 100% be me. I've got 2 passes. I'm saving my butt for Harry Styles and or Chris Martin, preferably at the same time, so we could just, it was one and done and we can call it a wash and keep it moving. I don't think I've told this story on the podcast because it's a little cringy and name droppy, and I really do try not to do that because I hear other people doing it and it's fucking tragic. But Andrew worked with One Direction back in the day. Him and his crew, the writers and producers that he works with, our closest friends, were like really balls deep into the 1D days. So we went to I went to their first stadium concert, and we were all going backstage, and I had never met Harry before. I had met the others, but not Harry. Obviously, I mean, hello, my tits were out, I was contoured, I was like, let's fucking do this shit, bitch. This is probably, I don't know, maybe like 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I don't remember. I looked at Andrew, as a lady does, and I said, when we get backstage, don't look at me, don't touch me, don't introduce me as your girlfriend. Let me just get in the room, have a kiki, and see how Harry responds to my sexual prowess. Like, let's just see if maybe I walk into that room untethered to any of you fuckers. He looks into my eyes, gets erect, falls in love with me, and then we run off to the sunset. At this point in our life, it was no ring, no thing. So we get backstage. I'm death glaring Andrew. I'm like, don't even look at me. Don't blink in my direction. For all Harry Styles could know, I just sauntered backstage. I could be a PA. I could be an agent. I could be a publicist. Just let me live in solitude and see if we have some sexual chemistry. Andrew's like, okay, bitch, fine. He runs off, is doing his thing, recordings. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. So there I am by my lonesome. I was with my girlfriend, and he comes up and he says hello, And I was like, oh my, I was so fucking cool, calm, and collected. Like, you don't even understand. My chest rash, I kept it at bay. There was no rosacea flare up. I was like, we are going to fuck in his dressing room right now. He goes, hey. And I'm like, hi, I'm Jackie. He's like, oh, we've met before. I'm like, oh, no. No, babe, we haven't fucking met before. And I played it so cool. I'm like, have we? And he's like, yeah, we met at Jules' house. I'm like, oh, maybe. That never happened. But, like, love that journey. Love that. I don't know what the game plan was there. I'm like, oh my God, he's totally trying to have sex with me. He's so lovely and goes, can I get you a drink? And I was like, I would love one. Goes to the crafty room, gets me a Corona Light, opens it for me, hands me the icy beer, and I'm like, holy shit, this is happening. My shit for brains boyfriend at the time, now husband, walks out and says, hey, Jackie, come in and say hi, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And then says, oh, did you meet my girlfriend, Jackie? I swear to fucking God, I almost started crying. I looked at Andrew with such rage and detest. And I was angry at him the entire night. He ruined what could have been. And now, do I think that he was even 0.04% interested in me? Absolutely not. But to this day, I bring it up any chance I can because we don't know. You never fucking know. I was in my goddamn peak that night. I had an upper lip curl and a death glare, and I just looked at Andrew and I thought, you fucking smug bastard. You are a murderer of love. Wow, that was hard to relive, and I am sorry and embarrassed that I even put that on this podcast, but it needed to be said. And now you know what I'm dealing with here and why I wake up at 3 a.m. tossing and turning and why when I hear watermelon sugar, it triggers me. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Next week, hopefully we'll get a little Heim Lovin'. So that will be very exciting. I'm trying to expand my repertoire. Also, I cannot continue to do episodes by myself because this will be played in a therapy session with my future children. Love you all. Give us 5 stars on iTunes. Follow me at Jackie Schimmel, and I will talk to you sluts next week.